Have you ever found yourself waking up at 3 a.m. and struggling to fall back asleep? You might lie in bed, surrounded by silence, staring at the ceiling, wondering what's going on with your body or your mind. The truth is, this happens more often than you might think, and it's not just some random habit or a simple sign of aging. In this video, we'll explore 5 important reasons why many older adults wake up at 3 a.m. and what these early morning wake-ups could really be trying to tell you. Each reason offers a deeper insight into your health, your body, and the experiences you've had throughout your life. By the time you finish watching, you might view your sleep patterns in a completely new way. These aren't just shallow explanations. These are based on real science, including your body's changing hormones, sleep cycles, and even the emotional and social factors that could be quietly influencing you. We'll address how age affects all of this in a way that is both honest and respectful of your life journey. So, if you've ever wondered why you wake up at 3 a.m., you're in the right place. Stick with us until the end. What you learn might not only help you sleep better, but also give you a deeper understanding of what's really happening inside your body. Let's dive in. Number 1. Decreased melatonin production. One of the main reasons older adults wake up in the middle of the night, often around 3 a.m., is a natural decline in melatonin production as we age. Melatonin is a hormone that helps regulate our sleep-wake cycle, acting as a body's internal clock. It plays a key role in not only falling asleep, but staying asleep throughout the night. When you were younger, your body produced a healthy, consistent amount of melatonin, which helped you enjoy deep, uninterrupted rest. But as time passes, your body starts to make less melatonin, and this can have a significant effect on the quality of your sleep. You might still fall asleep easily at night, especially after a full day or a relaxing evening, but by the early hours, around 2 a.m., 3 a.m., or sometimes even 4 a.m., the melatonin levels in your body can dip too low to maintain restful sleep. You may wake up not because of any external disturbance or dream, but because your brain is naturally shifting towards wakefulness without enough melatonin to keep you asleep. This isn't a sign that something is wrong, nor does it mean your body is failing. It simply means that your internal chemistry is changing with age. Additionally, the environment in your bedroom can make this effect even worse. Small amounts of light, whether from a street lamp outside the window, a blinking clock, or a hallway light under the door, can suppress melatonin even further. As you age, your body becomes more sensitive to these environmental cues, making that 3 a.m. wake-up feel even more frustrating. Take Harold, for example. At 72, he's always been a good sleeper, but lately, he finds himself wide awake at around 3:15 a.m. every night. He doesn't feel anxious or upset, just wide awake, as though it's time to start the day. Once he understood that this was a natural part of aging tied to the decline in melatonin, he stopped blaming himself and began adjusting his habits. Now, he keeps his bedroom darker, avoids screens an hour before bed, and takes a brief evening walk to help reinforce his natural circadian rhythm. These small changes signal to his body that it's still nighttime. While he still wakes up early, he's learned to work with his body instead of against it. Understanding this shift can be a game changer. When you realize that waking up early isn't your fault, but rather natural chemical change, you can take steps to support your sleep instead of feeling frustrated. This awareness helps transform frustration into compassion, allowing you to make better decisions about how you care for yourself at night. Number 2, shifted sleep cycle and advanced sleep phase. Another key reason older adults often wake up around 3 a.m. is due to a natural change in the body's internal clock, a phenomenon known as advanced sleep phase. As we get older, our circadian rhythms tend to shift forward, which means we may feel sleepy early in the evening and wake up early in the morning. You might find yourself dozing off during a late-night movie or waking up at dawn without an alarm, even when you wish you could sleep a little longer. This change is not just a new habit. It's a biological shift that becomes more noticeable with each passing year. When we're younger, our body's rhythm typically aligns with a later bedtime and a wake-up time that feels more in sync with the daylight hours. But as this rhythm advances, the sleep window shifts naturally to an earlier time. You might fall asleep by 9 p.m. or even earlier, without meaning to, which means your body has already completed its full rest cycle by 3 a.m. That's why you might wake up in the middle of the night, feeling like you've already had enough rest, even though it's still dark outside. This isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. It simply means your body is on a new schedule. It's like a clock that's being gradually reset, ticking forward a little more with each season. While this shift isn't harmful, it can be frustrating if your lifestyle, family routines, or personal preferences don't quite match this new rhythm. There's also a subtle psychological aspect to this change. Many older adults live in quieter homes or spend more time alone, and that peaceful environment can cause the body to start winding down earlier, without the noise or activity that once kept them up later. Your system starts its shutdown process much earlier in the evening. And if you're no longer working full-time or sticking to a strict daily schedule, the absence of external time cues, like meetings, commutes, or social events, can make this internal shift even more noticeable. Take Charles, for example. At 68, he's retired and typically eats dinner around 5:30 p.m., followed by an hour of television before bed. By 9 p.m., he's asleep, and by 3 a.m., his body naturally wakes him up. He doesn't feel anxious or stressed, just alert. At first, he thought he was dealing with insomnia, but once he learned about advanced sleep phase, he realized his sleep wasn't broken. It was simply rescheduled. Charles began adjusting his evening routine to stay up a bit later, reading a book with soft lighting, taking a light walk after dinner, and occasionally calling his daughter for a brief chat before bed. These small social and sensory cues helped extend his sleep window just enough to shift his wake-up time closer to morning. The result? Fewer 3 a.m. wake-ups and a deeper sense of alignment with his daily life. This natural shift in the sleep cycle is something many older adults go through, but few discuss. Understanding it can help remove guilt or confusion and offer a more compassionate approach to working with your body instead of fighting against it. So, if you're waking up at 3 a.m. and feel like you've had a full night's sleep, your body might simply be on an earlier schedule now. Once you recognize that, you can begin adjusting your routine to better support your well-being. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and turn on the bell notification so you don't miss any future videos. Your support helps us create more content that informs and inspires you. Now, let's move on. Number 3, physical discomfort and health-related interruptions. Another frequent reason older adults wake up around 3 a.m. is the body's response to physical discomfort or underlying health issues that tend to emerge during quiet hours of night. As we age, the likelihood of dealing with chronic conditions or subtle health problems increases. Many of these issues disrupt sleep without making any loud, obvious alarms. They sneak in quietly, like a sore joint, a full bladder, or a sudden twinge in the back. And often, that's all it takes to pull you out of a restful sleep in the middle of the night. Conditions like arthritis, for example, can make lying in the same position for too long uncomfortable. You may not notice the discomfort when you first fall asleep, but after several hours of stillness, those aches can build up enough to nudge you awake. For others, nighttime acid reflux may disrupt their sleep, especially if they've eaten too late or reclined too soon after a meal. Even something as simple as dry mouth, muscle cramps, or a slight change in room temperature can trigger an early morning awakening as your body becomes more sensitive and less forgiving with age. One of the most common physical reasons older men wake up at 3 a.m. is a need to urinate. As we get older, the bladder becomes less elastic, and the urge to relieve it can come on more quickly and more frequently. You might not feel it during the day when your mind is distracted, but at 3 a.m., in the dark and quiet, that sensation becomes impossible to ignore. And once you get up and move, even if it's just to the bathroom, your body may already have shifted from deep rest to light alertness, making it harder to fall back asleep. There's also the issue of medications, which many older adults take regularly for blood pressure, heart health, or pain management. These medications often come with side effects like frequent urination, changes in body temperature, or heightened sensitivity to noise or light, quietly affecting sleep. You may not even make the connection between your medication and your sleep pattern until it's pointed out to you or you start tracking your habits more carefully. Take Elena, for example, a 76-year-old woman who's always been a relatively light sleeper. Over the past year, she began waking up consistently around 3:30 a.m. After months of thinking it was just part of aging, she spoke with her doctor and discovered that one of her medications was affecting her hydration levels and increasing her nighttime trips to the bathroom. With her doctor's guidance, she adjusted the timing of her medication, added a few lifestyle changes, and now she wakes up less frequently and falls back asleep more easily when she does. The key takeaway here is that physical wake-ups don't mean your body is failing. In fact, they are signs that your body is still doing its job. It's responding, alerting, adjusting. These signals can help guide you to make better decisions about your health, leading to more informed choices and a deeper trust in your body's awareness. Waking up at 3 a.m. may feel like an inconvenience, but it can also be a gentle nudge to tune in, check in, and make small adjustments to support your health and improve your rest. Number 4, lifestyle habits that shift your sleep rhythm. Another powerful, yet often overlooked reason older adults find themselves awake at 3 a.m. is the effect of long-established daily habits. Small routines and choices, over time, quietly reshape your internal rhythm. Many older adults naturally start eating dinner earlier, winding down soon in the evening, and engaging in less physical activity during the day. These minor adjustments accumulate and can signal to the body that the night should start earlier, which, in turn, shifts the wake-up time earlier as well. When your days become quieter, especially after retirement, your body no longer receives the same external cues it once did, such as commuting, running errands, or taking part in mentally or physically stimulating tasks. Without these cues, the body's sleep-wake cycle may begin to drift forward. A calm, dimly lit evening with minimal stimulation can prompt your brain to produce melatonin earlier, inviting sleep before you even realize it's 9 p.m. And once you're asleep earlier, your body simply completes its rest earlier. This leads to waking up during those quiet pre-dawn hours, often right around 3 a.m. There's also a subtle connection between food timing and sleep quality. Eating dinner early, while generally healthy, can sometimes cause a dip in blood sugar levels overnight, especially if no light snack is consumed before bed. That dip may not feel like hunger, but it can still wake you from sleep. Similarly, caffeine, even when consumed in the early afternoon, can linger in your system, especially as metabolism slows with age, subtly lightening your sleep and making you more vulnerable to waking up at any small disturbance. Take someone like Walter, for example, a 74-year-old recently retired man. These changes in his routine crept in gradually. His days became less structured and his evenings more relaxed. He found himself eating supper at 5 p.m., falling asleep in his recliner during the evening news, and heading to bed before 9 p.m. most nights. Without realizing it, his entire routine shifted earlier by a few hours. Before long, he began waking up around 3 a.m., puzzled by why he was wide awake before the birds even started singing. After reflecting on his routine, Walter began making small changes, such as taking a short walk in the afternoon, reading under brighter light during the evening, and avoiding naps after dinner. These adjustments helped push his natural sleep window later, allowing his body to settle into a rhythm that better aligned with his ideal wake-up time. What's remarkable is how often we overlook the power of routine. Our bodies crave rhythm. Daily patterns that act like signals, telling the brain when it's time to rest and when it's time to rise. When those signals weaken or shift, the internal clock can lose its bearings, leading to earlier and more fragmented sleep. But by noticing these patterns and making mindful adjustments, it's possible to gently guide your body back to a more restorative and less disrupted sleep cycle. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and turn on the bell notification so you don't miss any future videos. Your support helps us create more content that informs and inspires you. Now, let's continue. Number 5, emotional and psychological restlessness. Sometimes waking up at 3 a.m. has less to do with the body and more to do with the mind. As we grow older, emotional layers that were once hidden under the busyness of life start to surface in the stillness of the night. These early morning hours, when the world is quiet and distractions are few, often become the time when unspoken worries, regrets, or longings begin to stir. You might find yourself lying awake not because of noise or discomfort, but because your mind is quietly sorting through memories, unresolved thoughts, or subtle anxieties you didn't realize were still lingering. This kind of restlessness is different from the full-blown anxiety of youth. It's quieter, more reflective. It feels like a soft hum in the background, a sense that something is unsettled, even if you can't quite name it. The mind, when not actively engaged, often drift back into old relationships, past decisions, losses endured, or words left unsaid. And with fewer daily responsibilities, there's more room for these thoughts to echo a little louder. It's also important to acknowledge the role loneliness can play here. For many older adults, social circles shrink over time. Children move away, friends get busy, and routines change. The daytime may be filled with light and activity, but nighttime brings silence, and with it, an awareness of that emotional gap. This loneliness doesn't always feel heavy. Sometimes it shows up as a simple desire for connection or a soft ache for someone to talk to when the house is still. Consider Gloria, who is 80 and widowed. During the day, she keeps herself busy tending to her garden, calling her grandchildren, or watching her favorite shows. But around 3 a.m., she often wakes up and finds herself reflecting on moments she shared with her late husband, or worrying about things she keeps tucked away during the daylight hours. At first, she thought something was wrong with her sleep, but over time, she realized that her early wake-ups weren't about sleep at all. It was her heart asking to be heard. To support herself, Gloria started keeping a small journal by her bed. When she wakes up, she writes down whatever's on her mind. Nothing fancy, just a few honest thoughts. She also added a quiet evening ritual, like listening to soft music or writing a short note to a friend. These little acts of reflection and connection gave her emotions an outlet, calming her mind and helping her return to sleep more peacefully. The truth is, the human heart doesn't follow a strict schedule. It remembers what it wants to remember, asks the questions it needs to ask, and sometimes does all this at 3 a.m. when everything else is still. But that's not a flaw. It's a sign of depth. If you find yourself waking up and feeling reflective, it might mean you're carrying wisdom that's ready to be acknowledged. You've lived through joys and heartbreaks, and those experiences shape not only your memories but your very sense of self. Instead of seeing these wake-ups as something to fix, try approaching them with curiosity and kindness. What is your mind trying to tell you? What do you need to give voice to? What part of you needs grace, even in the dark? Sometimes the most meaningful kind of rest comes not from ignoring these moments, but from honoring them. In doing so, you may find not only better sleep, but a richer understanding of yourself at this stage of life. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, take a quiet moment to reflect on what you've just heard. What resonated with you the most? Was it the shift in your internal clock, the subtle changes in your health, or perhaps something deeper, an emotional rhythm that only reveals itself when the world is still? Each of these 5 reasons offers a different perspective on your early morning wake-ups, and none of them point to something wrong or broken. In fact, they each show how deeply your body and mind are still working, still responding, still adapting as you move through the stage of life. There's quiet power in understanding what your body is trying to tell you, especially in those soft hours before dawn. Instead of seeing 3 a.m. wake-ups as a nuisance, try seeing them as messages, gentle signals reminding you to listen more closely to your needs, habits, and heart. You're not alone in this experience, and you're certainly not the only one searching for answers. But with insight comes strength, and with strength comes the freedom to make small, meaningful changes that support better rest, deeper comfort, and a stronger connection to your own rhythms. If any of these reasons spoke to you today, know that you're not just aging, you're evolving. And with that evolution comes an opportunity to rest more intentionally, care for yourself more gently, and greet each morning with more understanding and peace. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating content that informs and inspires you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.